Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another day in Bakanga land. I hope everyone is doing fine wherever you find yourself. Welcome to another day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to you from Trinidad and Tobago. I'll go straight to the point today. And, I'm all on the same topic or the same types of topic all the time. And believe it or not, even an entire lifetime is not enough to talk about the subject of who created God, when the answer is extremely simple. Man created God. This is a truth that most people ignore just how useful it would be to society, right? Some people are holding on to God so much that they will not let go of the idea of God. Some people are not able to live their life without making themselves subject to something. So perhaps instead of completely eradicating God, we must help people understand just how God comes about. God is created by human beings. Human beings make gods. That's just how the human mind designs. That's how it works, and that's how it designs reality. You are experiencing God from the perspective of whoever told you who God was. You are that person's slave. Any God that you have to worship is probably a God that was created by somebody else's imagination. All I'm simply telling you is you need to create God in your own mind and create a God that is not inferior, that is not superior to you. Create a God that can actually be tangible, realistic in your own life, in your own way. Don't let your emotions and your mind pull a trick on you, because some of you don't realize that the mind has the ability to conjure up things that are interchangeable with reality and yet not real. Let's take, for example, the concept of Christian love. And I'm not saying this to bash any Christian, right? Like, I really wish sometimes that I could do that. But have you ever found Christian love anywhere where there is not Christian hate? I'm not even talking about like an individual. I'm just talking about the system. Like really, 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 really good Christians. If you even look into their lives, you see their humanity just as well as you saw whatever made them seem like they were good people. This idea of God that religion has given the world, that God doesn't come without the devil. You can't have that God unless you can also have the devil. Shout out to you, everyone coming in. But you don't understand. It's not that he wouldn't be God. That's not what makes someone doesn't become God because you say that the person wouldn't be God, or you set up. If you are the one, if you can use your mind to say that if God was created, he wouldn't be God. If you can say that in your mind, that's because you are creating God. You have created a God who cannot be created in your mind. That's why you're arguing with me. If God was created, and this is to what? Juicy's big boy. To your comment. The God you have in your imagination, the God you have in your head, you made it up. Right now, every time I say the word God, you think of something. That thing that you're thinking of is imaginary. That's the only God you have, that imagination you have. Every time you hear me say the word Jesus, you have an image in your mind. That's not real. And yet, that's the only God you have. God is not within the self. The only part of you that God dwells in is your imagination. That's the only part of a human being you can find God. You can't find God in a person's personality. You can't find God in a person's identity. You can't find God even in a person's ego. You can't find God in a person's backyard, in a person's closet. No. You can't find God in the person's legs, person's eyes. Certainly not in their heart. Doing nothing but pumping blood and air. That's what your heart does. There's no God that lives in your heart. And for sure not in your brain. So where does God live? In this intangible idea of your imagination. That's where you're going to find him. This is not, listen, if you're religious, you know that you have always wondered this for a long time. You have wondered, when they say that God is within you, you've always wondered where and how and why is it that for some reason you don't feel it. But now I'm telling you where it is so you can know. God is in your imagination. No one can have a God without that God being in their imagination. No one can think of the idea of God without that God being in your imagination. So you need to examine your imagination. Why do you think the things you think the way you think them? Yes. God is purely an idea. If men don't build churches, guess what? There will be no churches. If men don't call themselves Christians, guess what? There will be no Christians. If humans don't call themselves Muslims, guess what? There will be no Muslims. Or if we don't call ourselves Buddhists, there will be no Buddhists. All these things exist because we call ourselves them. There's only a Christian in this world because somebody calls themselves a Christian. There's only a Muslim in this world because somebody calls themselves that. If all those people would all of a sudden stop calling themselves by those names, all of a sudden, there will be no such thing as a Muslim. I know my words are making your stomach turn. I know they make you extremely uncomfortable. It is simply true. Listen, to you religious people listening to what I'm saying right now, let me tell you something about something when it's true. It usually sounds unbelievable. You see, the point of religion and different forms of belief systems is that belief system is based on believing, meaning that oh my God. Every time I think about this, it's like I get a different perspective, right? You have to accept whatever you're believing in. But have you ever thought about what it's like when everything is done for you? You don't even have to accept it. It's just like, damn, it's true. If someone has to persuade you, listen, all religions are about persuasion or birth. You will never find a religion that comes to you in the good times of life. Religion always comes in like the devil that comes to taunt you whenever you're suffering. Let me tell you something back home. When I was in Africa, there was this common saying: when tragedy befalls a household, pay attention to the first people that show up to sympathize with you. Because in the midst of your grief, sometimes you don't realize that. Why is it that this person was already here before this unfortunate event happened to me? As if they already knew. You'll be surprised that the first people that show up to offer you solutions to a problem are usually the cause of the problem or know something about it. So many men and women have been betrayed in that way by people so close. Right? So check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Have you ever wondered why religious people are so emphatic about you needing to be saved? You only need to be saved for one reason, honestly. The reason of salvation, something that most religious people don't even know themselves. The reason for salvation is this: we are sinners. So you know, Christianity, Islam, all these religions of the West especially will have no substance if people were not sinners. So for the system to work, you need sinners. It is more important that you have sinners than that God show himself to humanity in the religion of Christianity. You understand? It is more important to the Christian religion that human beings view themselves as sinners, then it's important for them to make God come down to the earth and just convince everybody. I want you to consider this with your rational mind. When I mean rational mind, I mean literally like your brain as it's supposed to work. You really think that God, if God is real, doesn't know what it would take to convince every single human being? If there is really a God like the Christians and Muslims claim, be it as it may, different gods, is it far-fetched to believe that if a being can be that powerful, then that being knows exactly what every human being needs to be convinced? Why doesn't he give them everything they need to be convinced? Why stay a mystery? And yet, it is absolutely important that the people know that they are inferior to him. Listen, religion, in one way, when religion promotes the superiority of God, it's preaching the inferiority of humanity. It teaches people to develop an inferiority complex. You go to church so they can tell you how worthless you are when compared to God. Some people get off on that. Some people find comfort in knowing how weak and how pitiful they are. And they find comfort in being in a place where people would acknowledge it. I've always thought it's strange. Some people like to mourn. Some people like to just cry. Some people like to be in a constant state of weeping. And religion does that for you. Especially in Christianity. Not every version of Christianity, but in the Pentecostal variety of Christianity. They like to weep and cry and yell. They like to go on outburst. It's well-mannered and controlled as it is possible for adults. But in reality, if you go to a so-called born-again church, especially those of you in Africa, you watch their behavior, it just looks like an erratic child throwing a fit. And baby language, yeah, goo goo gaga. When the world does not go the way you want, you begin to cry about it. That's what the baby does. You know what a child does? A newborn baby or a small baby about a few months old cries because that's the only way it can get what it wants, because when it realizes that it has no power, all it can do is cry. So guess what? Praying is when you realize that you're powerless. So now you have to pray to a being that is not even worthy, that doesn't even find you worthy enough to materialize in your presence. Have you ever asked yourself that if God truly cares for me, wouldn't it be just so simple for God to just materialize in my presence? If God expects us, imperfect beings, to follow all these rules and go above and beyond, I mean, what's his excuse as a perfect being? Why is he not going above and beyond? I think it's an easy job for God to go above and beyond and make sure that there was no such thing as hell. I think it's God's job to go above and beyond and save Satan. No matter how you twist it, Satan is still his creation, and Satan didn't create himself, right? Some of you, come on, y'all, just think about this stuff. Think about this stuff. No matter how much free will is free will, do you think that a person's free will is still greater than God's ability to do what he wants, than God's free will? You realize that if humans have free will, then God also has free will? So why doesn't God use his free will to save the devil? Have you ever wondered what God does with his free will? I'm asking you, why hasn't God saved the devil yet? You think God can save you when he couldn't save Satan, his number one guy? They are all made up in the mind, in the imagination of men. That God in your head is not the same as the person standing next to you in church. You really think that you're the only one that sleeps at church? You think you're the only one that hates going to the mosque? Listen, nobody enjoys going to the mosque. If a person is enjoying going to the mosque, there's an ulterior motive. Money, loneliness, or women. Or men, in case of women. Today's culture, the church has just become a social gathering. Which, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with social gathering. There's nothing wrong with people just going to this building called a church, dancing, singing. If that's all they're doing, you know, like people that go to a party, people that go to a concert, people that go to a comedy show. People don't go to a comedy show because they're going to go worship a God that the comedian is going to preach to them. Have you ever seen a comedy show? It's set up just like a church. Church is just a social gathering, like a club. Yes, it is a club for behaved people, for less erotic people. It literally is. It does the same thing for their brain as going to the club does for the person that goes to the club. It's the same exact phenomenon. They are just calling it differently. You go, you dance, you can wear your tight pants and still shake your behind. You can do anything you can do in the club, in church. And science has exposed church because the religion of Christianity was never supposed to change along with science. If what the apostles and Jesus preached were true and they really lived in this world, people should still be practicing Christianity in the exact same way that those people were practicing back in the day. But I bet you, if Christians from 2,000 years ago and Christians from today meet each other at all, if Christianity is real, they will fight each other. I always say this. Let's mess around. Jesus shows up in the clouds. He's coming to fight the Christians. Because I think that they're the ones that will have the most problem with him. Because he's going to be, imagine.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. What's up?
Perfect. I have something to say, and if you don't mind to give me 5 minutes without to stop me, please.
I mean, I wish I could do that, but not necessarily. I have to first of all try to understand what you have to say, then I'll let you say it. I can't just let you come up here and just say whatever uninterrupted.
Right, okay. All right.
What do you have to say?
My name is Carol. I am white and I'm sorry. I have 3 reasons to believe that God is black. 3 reasons. And if you listen to me, you will like my reasons.
I mean, first reason, I'm not gonna get into the depths of if God is black. But what I would say is that those three reasons you have, are they in your imagination or are they real?
Please, you will see that they are real. Just let me finish, please.
No, I'm asking. Listen, I told you that I cannot let you finish unless I understand what you're trying to say, right? So let's have a conversation. But I am not going to let you preach to me uninterruptedly. Just tell me what you have to say.
If you want to understand what I say, don't interrupt me. And
I'll interrupt you if I have to.
All right, okay.
I want to hear what you have to say, brother, please. But I still reserve the right to be able to interrupt you and ask a question. Just go ahead and say what you have to say. Just try to keep your thoughts together. Don't let your thoughts wander off too much.
The first reason who make me believe that God is black, it's that all black people from this earth are superior like race. I'm not being racist. Like a race, it's a superior race. Yeah? In everything what black people do, they make perfect, whatever they make. They never try to make wars, they never try to make religion, manipulation, and all the bullshit, everybody made. The black people are pure, and they are made by God. The second reasons that I believe that God is black is when you close your eyes to sleep and to feel perfect. You have to go to sleep. What you can see? You see black, you see darkness. Why? And you feel perfect because this give you God, black. And the number 3 reasons that I believe that God is black. You look into the sky in the nighttime and what you see, the universe. All this universe is black, for Christ's sake. All of them. I have perfect reasons to believe that God is black, and God is not Catholic, is not Pentecostal. God do not have any kind of religion. None. God is God. I don't believe in Bible because it's made by people. I don't believe in people who made rights and books. I believe in God himself. Nothing more. Of course that I respect people who love God in the way. But what I love and what people must to love forever is God. Not a word of God who is right in Bible which is nothing from my point. This is the pure truth that I believe. I start this conversation with you saying that I'm white and I'm sorry.
Sorry
I'm
for
not
what?
being racist. You understand?
You're sorry for what?
I told you I'm white and I'm sorry. You understand whatever you want.
No, no,
Anyway, I
no.
saw
But
your
I
live.
want to know what specifically you're sorry for, because I guarantee you, we black people have no problem with you as a white man specifically. We have
Of course
nothing.
that we don't.
Listen. We have no problem with any white person. The
I
problem that we
know.
have is with the
That's
system. Listen,
I
we have
know.
the problem we have is with the system, and
I
it just
know.
turns out that
I know.
sometimes those who try to defend the systems are white. But we
I
don't
know.
out here. We're not out here like wanting every white person to come and apologize to us. That's not what we're
No,
saying.
I'm sorry in front of I don't know of what of life because I wish to be black. That's why I'm telling you that I sorry. I'm sorry. I wish a black woman. I wish
Why
a
do you
black
wish to be
kid.
black?
I don't know. This is my wish.
Do
Maybe
you
in
do you
next
really
life.
feel that way? Do you really feel inside of you that you wish to be black?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I love black people. Love your blood. I want when I will be buried in a graveyard. I want the black people to put me down, not a white one. I am not being racist. I swear to God. No, no, no. I love all the people, but
Yeah,
my
but don't you think that you are just simply idolizing the differences that you have with black people? Because I, as a black person,
no,
after
no,
carefully examining the world, I don't
no.
think that black people are gods any different from white people being gods.
I
Let me tell
know. I
you why.
agree with you. No, I agree.
No,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
right.
Hold up. Let me tell you why. It's not a matter of if there's black or white, or if
No,
black
you're
people's
right.
skin, or
No,
if the universe
you're
is
right.
black,
I agree
right?
with you 100, 1000% infinity. You're right. No, I don't disagree with you. I agree with you.
I know
But
that, but let me finish what I'm saying
yeah.
for the audience sake.
All right. Okay.
Black or white, a person is just a person. But people all together live in a system. When we say white, we're talking about the system.
Yeah, I know.
I hope people will not always misunderstand that.
I
Both
know.
white and black people. Some black people misunderstand that,
Yeah,
right?
I know.
And they take it personally. But listen, any black man that has a mind is poking at the system. Y'all can laugh at Kanye all you want to. Honestly, there's really no way to know exactly what motivates Kanye. If it's pure loyalty, or if he himself is the product of manipulation.
For sure. It's a pity.
The system is what everyone has a problem with,
Yeah.
not regular white people,
No, I
right?
know. I know. You're right. Yeah. I agree with
All
you. I
right.
saw your
Thank you
lives
for
and
your time, brother.
I
I
give you one.
appreciate you so much. Let me go on to the next guest, okay?
I wish you all best luck and I wish you to be
Uh,
with God personally after this life. This is what I wish you.
Hold up, what are you talking about? I thought you said you didn't believe in the religious God.
No, I said that I wish you to be with God personal after life. You misunderstand. I wish you all the
After
best.
life.
The word, yeah. After this life, yes.
After this life. What is after this life?
I don't know. What is after this life? I believe that we meet God, no? Or no?
No.
We
No,
don't know.
nobody knows. Nobody knows. So why are we even
Right.
talking about the
Anyway,
after death if we don't even know what happens then?
my intention was to say all the best. I made a
Oh,
mistake. I
okay.
apologize.
Okay. It was just a greeting. But The crazy thing is,
Mm.
I'm allergic to religion. If I hear it, I react. It's almost,
Of course,
it's like I am a machine that was
because
designed to
religion are
deconstruct
words
religion,
by
right?
people. Yeah, of course, because the words are the writing about people, stupid people who wants to make the system how they want. This system is bullshit. From 2000 fucking years, the people wants to make whatever they want to make with. They made Jesus Christ in a thousandth way. They kill people. My God, it's a history. It's a nonsense with
Thank you for your
arguments.
time, Carl. Thank you for your time, brother. Next guest is up. I'll talk to you another day, okay, brother?
I hope.
Thank you very much.
Me too.
Yeah, hello,
Uh,
brother. Hanga.
what's
Yeah.
cooking, Sanchino? It looks like you can turn on your camera. You probably should turn on your camera.
Nah, I'm literally in bed right now, so I'm watching your live right now, bro.
All right.
Right, so I just had some questions because I like to expand knowledge. I can see on here you have a question mark on was God created and did man create God in his own image? I just want to expand a little bit knowledge on what do you believe and what's your theology behind, the fear of God and existence. Like, why are we here? Who made us? Teach me something.
Oh, man. Okay.
Because I've been seeing your
There
videos,
is, there is,
videos
there.
by some of my
Go ahead.
friends and a lot, and I be seeing your stuff, but I don't really pay attention that much. But today I've got some time on me, and I wanna gather some knowledge, bro.
Okay. The first thing I want you to know is that I know nothing.
Right.
And whatever information transpires between you and I, there's no way to specifically say if it dwells within me or you, right? We're just communicating. And
Yeah.
if I say something to you that makes sense, that's because you already know what it is.
Right.
You get what I mean? You might have never put it in words in the exact way that I'm putting it,
Mm-hmm.
but you know exactly what I'm talking about because you think about it all the time.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
when we talk about reality, what is reality? Even from the most vague perspective, what is reality? Most people, that's a question that they cannot answer, and it makes them feel unsafe. Most people don't know what's real. Look at yourself, and look at the things that you give value in your life. Okay, take for example, imagine yourself on your deathbed, brother. What things will be going through your mind? What are the type of things that you think will be going through the mind of a person on their deathbed?
Are you asking or are you expecting
Yeah,
an answer?
I'm asking you.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead. What's your question?
What do you think people think about in their last moments right before they die?
Well, that would all depend on the system of the person's mindset. So whether they believe in God or whether they don't believe in God or whether they believe some
Do you
afterlife.
think that they will be thinking about if the McDonald's down the road is really going to close?
No, that's the last thing that they're thinking about. I'll be pretty concerned if that's what they were thinking about.
Do you think that they will be worried about the color of the Starbucks cups?
Oh, they think about their family members they're leaving behind, the legacy that they're leaving behind. I mean, a normal person, I mean, personally for me, I don't believe in death like that. But if I was in that situation, I'll be thinking about the people I'm leaving behind. Am I leaving them in good hands? Am I leaving them in a good future? That's the type of mindset I'll be living.
Reality becomes clear. Reality, what's real becomes clear, right? And the biggest reality about being on your deathbed is the fact that you know you're going to die and it's inevitable. And at that time, you've either already accepted it or not. And multiple people have different ways of accepting death. Some people accept death through their religion, right? They make up an idea in their mind that will make them comfortable with just letting death take its course. That's what religion is. From the
Mm.
very depths of an individual mind walking down the street, it's a reason for them to live without being paralyzed by the idea that they're going to die. So I said all of this just to ask you one simple question, bro.
Right.
Who
No,
are you?
I feel, I
Who are
feel,
you?
who am I? Who am I?
Yes, tell us who you are.
Okay, I believe I'm a person
No,
that.
I didn't say tell us what you believe.
No, well,
I
you
said
asked me
to,
who. I'm energy, bro.
can you prove
I'm
it?
I'm energy. You have to be
Can
my
you prove
presence.
it?
You have to be in my presence to feel it.
So you can't prove it that
What do
your
you mean?
energy?
You asked me who I am. I'm energy. Who are you?
I'm no one.
You're nobody. That's your opinion.
I didn't say I was nobody.
You said you're no one.
Yes.
Right. So what does that mean? Expand a little bit.
That means that even if you tried, you couldn't know who I am. Even if I
Right.
told you, you wouldn't understand who I am.
So
Who I
you're only
am from your perspective is something that is completely non-existent. That is
so
so
you're
much not important. It shouldn't be important to you who I am because you don't yet know who you are.
you asked me the same question, so isn't that kind of a bit hypocritical?
I just wanted to hear your answer.
Oh yeah, even so, it still states that you're hypocritical in that statement.
Sure, hypocrisy is not necessarily having to be something that makes you negative all the time. Sure, if you want to
Nah,
call it hypocritical, that's
say
fine.
I didn't say it was negative at all. But
No, no,
may
no.
I
That's
ask
what I'm
you?
saying to you. That look, if you see as hypocritical, I don't know why you would see it as hypocritical if you don't have a problem with it. Because if you don't have a problem with it, then you wouldn't see it as hypocritical. But nonetheless, even if it's hypocritical, it's okay.
Right,
I'm simply telling you that when I asked you who are you, it's not so much what your answer is, it's how you answer that I pay attention to.
right,
So it doesn't matter what you say to me. If you say to me you're no one or someone, I'm not paying attention to what you're saying to me. I'm trying to understand the logic of your personality. Like I'm trying to see the patterns in your speech so
right,
I can understand this voice that I'm listening
right,
and kind of like it's how you communicate, right? You put sound in order, you put things in order.
right.
Who are you? Listen, anybody that knows who they are doesn't have to go through multiple options. You ask them a question, they go straight to the point. When I tell you that I know who I am, this is not a belief.
Right,
I am no one in every way conceivable. And that's the truest reality. And knowing this truth allows me to be able to face death without putting myself under a delusion of religion, like expectations, right? It makes me not to form expectations about the afterlife. So it doesn't really matter to me if there's an afterlife or not. Like honestly, I'm indifferent to the. I don't need an afterlife, and I don't not like an afterlife.
I heard you say something like between the lines where you said you're allergic to religion, and you feel like you're a system and machine that's to reject religion or something like that.
Hopefully not in your own words, but that's not how I put it. I said
No,
that I'm allergic to religion, and I
actually that
am
was
like a machine that is
yeah.
designed to detect every bit of BS that comes out of religion. So like I'm like a BS detector. I'm like a fake dollar detector, bro.
Okay. Yeah. Can I ask you a question, bro? What's your ethnicity?
What do I look like?
I don't want to go by what you look like. I'm just asking you a question, bro. Where do you come from, like parent wise,
Well,
background?
I appreciate you not wanting to go based on what I look like. But
I'm,
be it as it may, I am confident in what I look like. That what I look like is more than enough to tell someone where I'm from. So I don't
what,
mind if someone
what,
judges me based on
why?
my looks because I love my looks. I love what I look like. And I think that what I look like is so unique. You should be able to look at me and know where I'm from.
No, but are you not limited? I would have to go by your voice.
Okay, sure. Where do
Right.
you
So,
think I'm from?
I can see that you have an African name. Bakanga is really African. I'm an African myself, so I would say you're African.
Well, if that's all you needed to get to the true conclusion, I guess it is what it is. I am African
From where, if you don't mind me asking?
from Bakanga.
Bakanga.
Yeah.
Is that anywhere near like Congo and them countries there?
Oh, yeah. It's in the dead middle of the jungles of the Congo.
So, am I right to say you're Congolese?
No, I'm not Congolese.
Okay, but you're of Congolese. something, right?
Um, Congo, being a Congolese is a nationality, but
Right.
there's also the forest, the jungles of the Congo.
I feel you. I feel you, bro. By the way, this is not a negative. Like I see your stuff, and I'm so open minded to learn. That's why I can see you're a man of knowledge, and I like the whole system of what you got going on here.
I
And I
promise you,
like
bro,
to.
I'm not a man of knowledge. What
No, no,
what
no,
I
no,
do
no.
is
That's your
so check
opinion.
this
That's
out.
your
Check this
opinion.
out. I want you
Why,
to
why?
when you look at when you approach my content, if you really want to resonate with me, don't view me as though okay, I hope to be an inspiration to you for you to be yourself. I hope to inspire you to be yourself, to know
I get
yourself
that,
and to
but I'm
know
going
beyond yourself.
by what I feel and what I see. So from what I see and what I hear, you're a man of knowledge. That's those are my words and those are my opinion of what I feel
Right,
you are.
right,
I like
right.
that. Like that you challenge ideas, you challenge religion, you challenge people's mindset because I believe you're trying to create this type of system that people need to come out of. I'll use my own type of words. This matrix that's being programmed by the governors of the all across the globe, and people are stuck in this matrix. And you're trying to break those situations, trying to tackle those areas and free people's mind. And I feel like you're going on about it. It's not available. I feel like you're going on about it the right way, but some people will not perceive your message. But I perceive your message. I feel like it's very positive. So congratulations to you, sir. Keep up the good work, man.
Absolutely, boss. Absolutely. And
Hmm.
this is what I would say also to you. Like I
Yeah.
said, if anything I say makes sense to you, is because you already know. So thank you too. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on here too. And one more last thing, bro. I just want to ask this one thing. Did you grow up in any religion at all?
Yeah, of course.
What religion did you grow up in?
Christianity.
Okay, and what made you like plug out of that one, like uproot yourself out of that?
The same thing that makes somebody graduate from high school and go to college and go on to get degrees and get PhDs and become a professional person and becomes, you don't stay in one grade level. You don't stay in one level of education for your whole life. You
Let's
can't
pretend.
tell me that it makes any logical sense that I will be born a being like me that
Yeah.
thrives on knowledge, wisdom, and understanding will be born in a world like this, and now a world with so many religions, and for some reason I will stay in one.
Right.
Nah, the goal is not to be stay in one religion. The goal is not to even have a religion. The goal is simply to understand every religion and still not pick any. If you do
Okay.
that, then you've lived.
Okay. 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 Those are interesting words. So, what do you class yourself like? What kind of system would you say you live in?
I have a system within like my own thought process and my mechanical being, right?
Yeah.
I have a system, but that system is nothing. And that is the best word I can use to describe it due to the fact that no matter what you do, I won't tell you. And because the system is a secret, right? It's part of why I am what I am. And everyone ought to have that system for themselves. Meanwhile, prior to this moment when I was religious, this system that I now have, I couldn't have it because there was another system in my life that compelled me to live by rules that were set by another man, even in my own personal life.
Mm-hmm.
But right here, right now, in my personal life, I have absolute say over everything. Like my personal life, I'm like the manager of my personal life.
You are the law of your own life,
I
and
mean,
you are the
it's
dictator.
not just I'm not trying to be poetic. I'm telling you, like it's a conscious thought. Like I consciously live my personal life, and I judge myself. Like I have a legal system, a self-imposed legal system
Yeah.
within the confines of my being.
No, bro.
I
I
have
see you.
judge,
You're
jury,
living your best life right now.
lawyers.
You're living your best life right now, and I love it because you live a free world where you're not bided by any system or bided by any laws or whatever. You're bided by something greater, and no man would ever understand that because people are so shackled and chained by the program. Like people still like, for example, people know the color red to only be red because you were told that it's only red. People
Right.
people tell you that there's alien that fly in UFOs. How the hell do you know that's actually a UFO? Do you know what I mean? They program you so much to believe this, to believe that. People don't even know what real is real. So when you were talking about reality, what is reality? That is a big question. Reality to people is living in a society where people are living in a moral right, where you don't steal from one another and this and that. That is simply the biblical Romans that, kind of embedded their own lore on top of that. But at the end of the world, at the end of the day, people say they don't really believe in God, but they still play this God system. There's still God system going around. And I know you're not trying to break all of that, because some of that keeps you safe and keeps those that you love safe, which is good. But you are trying to break the system that slaves the people. Like, I was watching this one video on TikTok and I saw how the white man was completely destroying our African ancestors and just our African land, and they cut off their hands. They did all kinds of, they were taking their pictures like they were mannequins and everything. And I looked at it, I'm like, revenge is the only thing that people can go on about, but revenge can't fix all that. Revenge can't fix all that. So the one thing that I admire a lot is you're trying to break the system without bringing violence. You're trying to break the system and make people come out of that matrix, come out of those chains without needing to bring violence and all the evil that they did to our land and destroyed our people. Boy, yeah, I really salute you, bro.
Bro, the fact that you have that zeal, that's good enough for me. And like I said, I'm not trying to propagate hate, but I'm not going to settle for an inferiority complex. Like, I'm not trying to be less than white people or even better than white people.
Right,
I just want to be the best
right, right.
that I can
It
be,
was that.
right? If the best that I can be is better than you, fine. If it's not up to you, fine.
Right.
But history hasn't done us a favor in terms
No,
of
it
race
hasn't.
relations,
It
because
hasn't.
history has created two type of people: people that want to forget and people that cannot forget. Those are literally what you have in this situation.
Yeah.
We can't forget. We the descendants, we can't forget. And let me tell you who else knows this: the elite that rule the world, the
Yeah.
builders of this system that we blame every white person from when it's not even white people's fault. The
Nah, it's not.
elite
Those
know
are the
that
people that see. Nobody.
vengeance cannot be eradicated out of the hearts of black people. No matter what they do,
Mm,
that anger is just, it's genetic. Like,
yeah.
black people will always know about slavery. Like, you will never not, they will never not know. And every time a young black man watches anything about slavery, it will make them angry in the inside.
Yeah. It's like the
The amount of
defense.
self control, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine how much, bro? Think about when you used to watch the slavery movies or the documentaries, how they used to buy. Like, no black person feels good in the inside watching that stuff, but it's history. No,
No.
if you're a black person and you feel nothing in the inside when you watch that stuff, something ain't right. And I'm
Yeah.
not even saying you have to be hateful or anything. Nah, it just deep down inside of you, there's a
So,
displeasure, and that is the voice of the ancestors, right? That's the legacy of the ancestors. There's this thing that we inherit from our parents, not just their genetics, but their feelings too.
mm,
We inherit feelings from our parents.
yeah. I feel you. I want to expand a little bit. So, I do understand a lot of people why they don't believe in religion, because religion pushes a lot of that agenda of slavery mentality without you thinking. Because it's good to say, for me, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'll tell you straight up, I believe in Jesus, but I don't believe in Jesus Christ the same way people believe in Jesus. So I'll tell you the little bit difference. If you were just to put Jesus Christ on the side on his own, because Jesus Christ never declared that he was a Muslim, he never declared that he was a Buddhist, he never declared that he was anything but love, right? It's the people that embedded him in this one picture that he's this, he's that, he's this, that. Are the people, and the Romans and their fathers. They're the ones who constructed that whole system. And if you go deep down, I think it's somewhere like in Romans 13, verse 10 or something like that. It tells you that if you don't believe in the governments, if you don't obey them, da da da, you're basically disobeying God. So with that one law, right, you got to take the jab. If you don't take the jab, you're destroying. If you're basically going to hell, something like that, right? Because you're disobeying God. In that one law, you're supposed to obey everything that they come out of, all the BS that they come out with. You're supposed to obey it because why? Because apparently, according to that Romans 10, the authority has been given by God. And so every person, whether you're male or female, if you believe in Jesus, you got to believe in that one verse because they say that the Bible is 100% inspired by God. So that right there already
Bro, but
brings it.
what is inspiration, right? When we talk about inspiration, what's inspiration? Remember, I said I'm allergic to religion. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, even when you say it doesn't sound right, it's amazing. I actually appreciate the fact that you try to say what you just said because it doesn't sound right no matter who says it. Like,
right.
if there was a way to purge the Jesus idea out of the human psyche, we should remove the idea of Jesus out of people's brain because that is as unrealistic as it's a fictional character. Like it wouldn't happen. It's as unrealistic as trying to make anything more than comics out of Superman. If you try to use Superman as an inspiration to live your life on a daily basis, you're still kind of delusional to a certain extent. You know, even if you still acknowledge that look, it's just a comic. We're just fans. We like to go to comic cons. Nah, it's a type of
Mm-hmm.
fanaticism, right? Like you're being a fanatic about something. That's why it's called being a fan. You see why religion is it's almost gonna become obsolete because there are different aspects of life that are replacing all the things that people usually depend on religion to get. That's why the younger generations don't really care about going to church anymore. Listen, when you hear about church, most young people go to church because they have emotional issues, but most young people just want to live life in today's
Right.
generation. And Africa has so many young people right now. What we are doing, what I am doing, most people cannot see it, but Africa is the youngest continent on earth. When you combine black people, we have the largest amount of young people in the world right now. So we have experienced a population boom
Mm-hmm.
in the last 40 to 50 years.
Yeah.
Black people have experienced a population boom. Africa is projected to add 2 billion people in the next 33 years. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to think there is probably 1.1 billion or 1.2 billion people there today. In 33 years, there will be 2 billion more.
Right.
Nigeria will have more people than the United States. And with that, if we have systems in place, systems that are built in our own image, how are we not going to endure? It's not
Mm.
even that we have to bring down the American empire. No, we can rise even under the umbrella of the American empire.
I
You see
do
how
agree.
China did it?
I do agree with you that religion is keeping Africa behind. I'll say a little bit deeper. I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way, but I do
No,
agree
no, no.
that
You good. You good. You good.
is the reason why Africa's behind is because I was looking at this one video and I was seeing the kids from China and the kids from the continent of the Kingdom of Africa, right? They had their children learning and they were working in warehouses. They were doing all kinds of different jobs, like just educating themselves and really like, working the muscle brain, right? Then you looking at the children in Africa, they're busy on their knees praying. It's good to pray, but this is the problem. That's why I told you I'm different from when I say I believe in Christ because there's people who believe in Christ yet they don't believe they gotta work, they ain't gotta study, they ain't gotta do this. They just feel they basically have that lazy mentality, right?
Right.
And that's wrong because if you say you want to live in a society where you want to see not only your best life but you care about the neighborhood and everybody around you, you got to do something to infiltrate the people, and you got to start with the youth because the old are now old. Now you gotta pass that message on to the youth, and what we're preaching to the youth in Africa is just religion, 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 religion. And whether it's Islam or whether it's whatever it is, I believe it's completely wrong because the one thing that deepens me about slavery is not even the fact that they came around and just killed everybody. That obviously hurts me a lot. But my deepest pain is the fact that Africa is so behind. The white man will always know himself. And I'm not a racist. The white man and the Chinese and whatever other colors, they will always know themselves. But the black man, he's going around in circle like the devil himself, just going around in circle trying to figure out who he is and what is his purpose. But the white, they know what they got to do. You got to look at the first
Brother,
person in
if
Nazi.
you don't mind if I interject here.
Go ahead, go ahead.
You're not wrong. I would not so much want to impact the way you think about it as much as the way you feel about it. Like, don't worry about it. African countries are still behind. The most natural reason why is because those countries are still, they're the youngest countries in the world, really, in terms of like country. When you talk about land masses that have been here in a long time, Africans didn't used to do countries. The reason why we're still behind is because it's taken us a while to figure out how democracy and tribalism can work together.
And our books were stolen too. All of our knowledge was stolen, bro.
No, knowledge wasn't stolen because we
I
had a
don't.
dual system. We had a dual system of transmitting information
Yeah,
throughout
I don't.
the
Knowledge,
systems.
knowledge.
Every time that there was a black empire, by word
Yeah,
of mouth and by the written word. But the way we transmit information by the word of mouth is through our culture. So
right.
we create entire new cultures based on historical events, things that you become a part of your life so much that you always know that at some point we did this and this is why we live like this today. It's amazing, bro. Like in my tribe, there are 8 days in a week on our calendar.
Right.
8 days. The 8th day is the market day. It doesn't count.
Mhm.
It's a day when it's a day that has no label on it, and it's a day when even friends and enemies can come together and trade.
Right.
It was the universal consciousness. In fact, if you had something to say to your enemy, you wanted to tell them on market day because on market day you weren't allowed to kill each other.
Right.
This is
That's
consistent to our many different African tribes and cultures, right? So we're still having a hard time trying to amalgamate our culture. Our culture is beautiful. Like we're not
of
just
course.
gonna turn it over to the Europeans.
Of
That's why
course.
it's still the way it is today because there's a conflict between traditional Africanism and what the world expects from us.
Right.
So it's gonna take us maybe another what, 100 years, another
I
hundred
don't.
years to be completely stable.
I.
In the next
I.
100 years,
I,
you have Wakanda like cities.
I hope it doesn't take 100 years, and I believe there's okay. There's
Oh
that
no,
type.
why are you hoping it doesn't take 100 years?
No,
100 years
because
is not
bro.
even that much time, bro. If 100 times, if you think of 100 years and that's a lot of time, you're not even thinking.
No, 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 no. I wouldn't experience this in my lifetime. That's all it is, bro.
No, my lifetime doesn't care when it comes to subjects like this. Like my opinion, my belief doesn't matter. So when I'm looking at these things, I don't have to be limited by time. I'm only limited based on my brain capacity. When you are looking at things that have nothing to do with you personally, listen, most of you cannot understand that God only lives in your imagination because you can not include yourself into the whole thing. You keep including your personal feelings. Look at it. Look at it without you needing to believe it.
I feel you on that, bro. I feel you. I feel you. It just hurts a lot, man. It hurts a lot. The pain is a lot because you look at the continent of Africa, it's filled with so much beauty, filled with so much resources. I mean, god dang, these people come from like European and Western countries to come to our land to get stuff like the coltan, to get all these things that they make with the iPhones and all these other systems. And yet the African people themselves don't realize how powerful they are, bro. I'll go a little bit deeper, right? I believe in this because I am a man of spirituality too. I believe a lot of people are thinking God is actually outside of them and they got to do all these rituals to have God. What if people knew God exists in our self being already and he already gave us that
Okay,
magic inside?
what part of our being will you say God lives in?
No, no, no. When I'm saying our beings, I'm saying there's a thing you got to tap into, right? And when you tap into that thing, you would actually know that God has already been with you. and it's you, the person that's behind.
Yeah,
And
I understand that, but I want you to, based on your way of thinking, what part
okay,
of the body, which part of
I'm
you, which part of a person does
conscious,
God dwell in?
conscious,
Give
and
people perspective. From your perspective, what is the
from my,
perspective
I
when you're
I believe,
looking inside?
yeah. From my perspective, I believe it's the mind and it's the soul. I believe the way of
What
someone.
is the soul?
Uh, I would say that thing that makes you who you are. That's the thing that gives you directions in life. So, example, if you're walking today and you just get this feeling that right now, something ain't right. The people that you're with right now ain't right. You got to move somewhere else. You got to make that different move. That one thing that just directs you, bro. That's on me. That's my words. Anybody else can call it whatever they want to call it. But I believe
Okay. No, no.
God.
Listen, bro. Check this out. Check this out.
Go ahead.
It's not that anyone can call it what they want to call it. When we're talking about something like this, it's not a matter of call it what you want to call it, right?
Right.
Because those words mean what they mean to you. But if you're not careful how you use it, you could be hurting somebody else because
Right.
they don't understand what it means to you. So now
Right.
I'm gonna put it in a way that is the most realistic
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because we don't usually like to admit what we don't know. In reality, every time we say God lives in us, 90.9999999% of the people that say that don't actually understand, or they cannot pinpoint which part of your being, which specific, they cannot show you step by step instruction how to get there because they
Right.
don't know themselves. They just think that
Right.
they just think that God should be part of your thinking process or who you are or something. You should be somehow involved within God and you should make the rules. The way you view yourself. Most people cannot really pinpoint, right? They can't say, "Oh, God is in your heart." When they say God is in your heart, and you ask them, "Is God in the chest that is beating?" They say no, and then they get caught up in it because this
Right.
is the
Right.
reality. God lives in your imagination, not in your mind, not in your brain, in your imagination. Like everything you have to believe is always 100% imaginary. So now you need to examine yourself. Look at your imagination. I'm not saying your imagination an amazing superpower. It's the most
Right.
powerful part of a human being.
Right.
So if God is real, if the idea of some almighty power exists, it would have to live in the imagination.
That
The
makes sense.
imagination is the only human thing that can contain that type of information because reality is not vast enough to
No.
contain that. So you have to go within the realms of non-existence in your imaginary chamber. So everyone inside of them has an infinity chamber within
I,
the confines of their being. And that
I,
infinity
must,
chamber is the imagination.
I most definitely agree with you, brother. So yeah, that's what I would say it is. And people are so stuck in trying to get this perfection, bro, and being this
It's
perfectionist.
because they don't know that God only lives in their imagination. This is the new word. Listen, this is the true good news, right? God lives in your imagination. Let me tell you why it's good news that God lives in your imagination. Because in your imagination, it doesn't matter if God exists or not.
Right.
He can just be chilling there and he doesn't have to exist or not exist. So in your imagination, the atheist is right and the Christian is right. Or the atheist is wrong and the Christian is wrong. You can make anything you want in your imagination.
I feel you, bro. I
And it's
feel
a
you.
real thing. Your imagination affects your behavior.
Right.
It translates to your personality, your identity. It
And
your
it,
imagination.
it forms the reality that we form every day. It all comes from the mind. It comes from how.
Man, your imagination is the combination of every thought you've ever had.
Right. It
Every
transcends.
thought you have ever had since thinking became thinking for you, since you began to think that you can think. The first time, you don't even know. Most people don't remember the first time they could think that they could think. But every memory, every thought that your mind has ever processed, even one day you just check that girl out for 1 minute, or one way you wish for 1 second that you were born a different race, or whatever stuff goes through your mind, combined together, that's what makes
Bro,
up your imagination.
yeah, honestly, in a hypothetical world, bro, me and you be best friends, yo.
Hey man, hypothetical,
I tell y'all the truth. In a hypothetical world, me and you be best friends, bro. I'll tell you that for sure.
man,
Some
man,
beautiful.
because it's just a matter of understanding.
Nah, because everything you saying to me is transcending, and everything I'm saying to you is transcending. You feel me? Like I don't have to talk to you about religion for you to understand me. Like most people on here, When you
No,
ask them
no, listen,
about them, they,
not at all.
they
Hell
talk
no.
about not even them. They talk about the Lord. They talk about the man on the cross, which is good. But you're not talking about yourself, because at the end of the day, right? What people don't realize is the human that we are. Even though I don't consider myself to be human, but the human that people are, right? You got to live with your suffering 24/7, bro. It's you the one that feels the pain. So when you're holding a grudge, it's only you the one that's hurting. When you feeling angry, want to hurt somebody, it's only you that's going to feel that pain from the morning until dawn. It's only going to be you. This is why my message is always trying to build a harmony world for yourself and everybody around you. And I only use the Christ, the Mandela effect, because he talks about love so much and everybody's so attached to this. People wake up every day angry at their neighbors, angry at this, angry at that. It's only you who got to feel that. How do you unplug? People got to get unplugged, bro. Like the day I unplugged from the Matrix, bro, I became so happy in my life. I used to think like college, university, certificates and all this define me to make me happy, because society told you if you pass these exams, if you pass that, then you're qualified. If you pass this, you're ready to get a job. But all of these things are systematic chains that's built to control you and to make you feel weaker. They tell you got dyslexia. They tell you problem here. They tell you got this disability here, because this is what society don't believe that you're good at. So you fail one exam, they call you dummy. You fail two exams, they call you retarded. You fail five exams, they tell you got zero IQ. They're defining you by the things that you do. But when you out of this government, bro, when you break out of this system, you feel so free. This is why when I come into your page, the number one feeling that I just feel from you is that you're free, bro. You're a free spirit, you're a free energy. You're not living according to man's law or whatever that man have built. This is a programming. It's like the songs that people listen to today, they'll defend these rappers, they'll defend all these celebrities. Yes, these celebrities don't do nothing for you. They only drive you to more wahala and craziness and depression, and to fall in love with this girl, to fall in love with this man. These celebrities only enhance the craziness that you already have in. But yet you will defend them when there's people like a certain brother that's trying to plug you out of that matrix, because these celebrities that people listen to every day in the music, they also play a part in spreading that agenda and extending it and expanding it. So like I said, my biggest pain is that the black man and the African man is always gonna we're not always gonna go around. At the moment, we're just going around trying to find out who we are. Yet the white man and everybody else already know who they are, and they control NASA. They control the weather. They control the law. Where's the one black man that's actually in the system in the high rankings? Why is there no black man there? Because the black man is busy praying. The black man is busy praying. I'll tell you a quick thing, bro. A quick thing, real quick. So here's the thing, real quick. There was this one story about it's kind of like a funny story. So this man was expecting a blessing from God, right? He was stuck on
Right.
sea. He was stuck on water. So he was expecting God to bless him or God to give him something. So he was sinking somewhere, and his ship was sinking, right? So he saw the first ship that flew past him, and he's like, we want to help you because you're sinking over there. He's like, no, 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 y'all pass on. I'm waiting for God. So the second boat passed on. They're like, let me help you. It's like, you know what? I'm still waiting for God. The third one passed, and that was the last one, and he ended up perishing and died. And he met with God when he died, right? And he said to
Mhm.
God, God, why did you save me? God told him, I sent you free ships, free boats to save you, you dummy. Why did you not allow me to save you? It's because people are expecting this perfect blessing, bro. People are expecting this perfection. People expecting this so-called fantasy that you've built for yourself. Do you know that God comes to us in mysterious ways? People don't know this. So my message is really like the day you unplug from this matrix and the shackles that the governments have everybody in, that's when you truly have freedom.
It is easy to unplug yourself from whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you are the captain of your own mind. That's why it is extremely dangerous to worship a God that another man created. You should never worship anything that is not anything that's greater than your ego. That is a necessity of the ego. The necessity of the ego is always to remind you and give you perspective that that your sustenance doesn't come from outside of yourself. It radiates from within you. Man, look at the topic of today, right? My question was, who created God? Some people, their mind, they can't even think about that question, and they've just assumed that there's no answer. And that the answer is that we don't know, or that no one created God. Or some people are so bold to say no one created God. But you have to understand, you only find God mentioned or being relevant wherever you find human beings. Why? You don't see angels come down from heaven and talk about God. Right. Demons don't come out of hell and talk about God. It's always humans. Have you wondered why? Have you ever seen dogs or chickens talking about God? Human beings created God. How? How? Through the imagination.
Yeah.
Imagine the highest thought. Imagine the highest being that you can imagine. Now, let me tell you something strange. You can't imagine a being that is greater than you. It's impossible. So every time you say a supreme being, that's an internal oxymoron.
I hear you, bro.
How can you imagine a being that is greater than you using your imagination, which is part of you?
So my question to you, my brother, like, what do you believe? How do you believe we got here? Then, like, expand that knowledge. How do you believe we got here? If it's not a God or creator or a supreme being, then how did we get here, bro?
First of all, let me give you perspective. We didn't get here. We are here. We are here. Your father was here. Your father's father was here. Your father's father. Do you have anyone in your lineage that claims to not have been here? No human being can think of a time when there were no human beings on earth. So the question is not a question where I'm going to think, where do we come from? It's very easy to answer. We are born. Baby come into the world by being born. You go through the natural process of growth, and then you go through your indoctrination into society. That's reality. Now, we all have imaginations. So we can ask ourselves, well, if I have a father, and my father has a father, and my father's father has a father, does it keep going forever or does it stop? If you don't know for sure, then anything is possible.
Word.
Anything is possible. So it's possible that something created human beings.
Right.
But guess what? I am telling you that even if human beings have
a creator,
some type of engineer, even if human beings are like an amoeba that came out of another amoeba, you know, whatever brought us into existence was not God. It was not a God. It has nothing to do with the idea of God. This is a difficult thing for most people to accept. For their God to be relevant, one of his attributes is that he has to be a creator that created this world. If your God cannot exist without being the creator of the world, your God is not impressive enough. Your God is small. Because you've pretty much taken the world around you and turned it into an envelope. To envelop your God in it. And you think that that's impressive. Human origins is more mysterious than any fictional book. We don't know. There's no way to know unless we can time travel.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, let's not even worry about who created human beings. We will never know.
Do you believe we will?
The same way that a human being cannot breathe underwater, bro.
Do you believe
there's limitations?
Do you believe we'll eventually come to know who our engineer is? Our creator?
No.
Never.
Yeah.
Why? Why not?
Just that we will never meet the people that built the World Trade Center the first time.
I hear that, but in this statement, isn't it a little bit different? In this situation, isn't it a little bit different?
Bro, for as long as human beings have been, whoever brought human beings here is probably dead.
You say he's what?
And for as old as human beings are, whoever brought humans here or made humans is probably dead already. Human beings were only relevant because we keep multiplying.
Expand. Definitely expand on that one, bro.
Whoever brought human beings into place is a human-like creature, like us, right? A creature that is made up of flesh and blood that has a problem it needs to solve. So it genetically modifies itself. And though it's not able to acquire, it's able to transmit whatever is gotten to its offspring. Right. And it multiplies through the genome, right? They live on, but he dies off.
Do you believe
so guess what? All his descendants, hold up. All his descendants will never know that their original ancestor had a tail.
Right. Interesting.
That's what you guys don't understand. What if your original ancestor had a tail? You ever wonder where your tailbone went?
Where did it go, bro?
Ask the monkeys. Listen. I'm not saying that your original ancestor had a tail. I'm just saying what if, right? In this situation, it's a matter to think about. Really think about it and be honest to yourself. Why? I don't understand how people feel so comfortable lying to themselves, man. Look, lie to other people. Don't lie to yourself. Lying is okay as long as you don't lie to yourself.
In science at all, Bakanga?
Huh?
Do you believe in science at all?
Bro, I don't believe in anything. So my relationship with science is not one of belief.
Do you believe in parts of science being a thing, like being true, being accurate?
I don't believe in science, bro, or I don't use the word believe to describe. I know what I know about science.
Okay, do you know science then?
Of course. I know how science works. Okay. And it's replicable and it's observable.
Okay, do you think it's true?
No, I don't think anything about it as far as true or not, because I mean, if I take my phone and I click on the TikTok app, the app opens up, so I don't go around thinking if it's true or not. It happens.
I hear that, but I'm just trying to have a kind of intelligent conversation here. So, you know the whole evolution thing, as you stated,
right?
They believe in we came from monkeys and came from apes. So you completely.
It's not that evolutionists. It's not that they believe that we came from monkeys and came from apes. That's not what they say. They're not saying for a fact that that's what happened. They're saying that based on what they are looking like, what they are looking at, it appears as though some type of human ancestor had tails.
Right.
That's what they're saying. You see, unfortunately, most people don't understand that religion always wants to paint everything like it's like them, right? So if you believe in your religion fervently and you think that it's the only way, you think that other people are like you, that they believe that their way is the only way as well. No. Really, what they're saying about evolution is evolution changes a lot because they don't really know about it yet. So what they're saying is that we didn't come into being at one time. That human existence came into being slowly through time. Yeah. It was either artificially interrupted with and modified, or it naturally evolved. Right now, they haven't yet found evidence that our genetics was somehow artificially intervened with, but it is not beyond imagination for them. So the evolutionist has no doubt that at some point an intelligent being could have come and altered the human species to give them maybe the ability to think, maybe the ability to communicate, maybe the ability to, different things. It's not beyond their ability to understand. They're just telling you that the human being, that sperm, originally began as a tadpole. That's what the evidence suggests. Now they don't know They don't have any evidence to suggest that you were actually a tadpole. That's just their logical conclusion based on what they have so far.
Right, right. So they're going off the base of the knowledge that which they perceive, basically.
Based on what they have acquired through their science, yes.
Right, right, right. I feel that. I feel that, bro. I want to
And
ask you.
unlike them, religious people just go based on what they feel,
No,
which is
I feel you on that one. I just wanted to ask, do you be okay, you don't like the word believe. Do you think it's possible for one to reincarnate?
no.
You don't believe in
Reincarnation is also in your imagination, just like resurrection.
yeah. So that would mean basically you don't think immortality is real too?
What is mortality and what is immortality?
You already know the answer to that, Mr. Smart.
No, no, I'm asking the question because most people have never asked themselves that question to actually think about it.
All right, so
Mortality, which one depends on another? Does immortality depend on mortality or does mortality depend on immortality?
That's a very good question. I feel you. I feel you again, but I just want to focus on the part of being living long throughout a long time, like
Well, if you want
eternity.
to live for a long time, don't die. That's the only
Wait,
way to live for a long time. If you die, even if you resurrect again, you're still a zombie.
no, I'm not talking about dying at all. I'm saying to a point where you just live forever. Do you believe that's a thing on Earth?
I mean, I wouldn't say you can live forever.
Right,
Everything is constantly changing
right.
from one state to another. So there are not too many things that remain the same way all the time, forever.
Mm, okay, bro. But Kanga, I'll say this one thing: if there's definitely a man on Earth that's gonna eradicate, religion, it's probably gonna be you, bro. Because talking to you makes one who believes in a god or believes in a religion think twice and actually think of renouncing that religion. So if that's your goal and that's what you plan on doing in order for the better of society, the better of life, especially from our people in the kingdom of the most beautiful kingdom ever to exist, Africa, that right there would make my day. So I pray one day, that's just really my prayer that Africa gets
My goal,
restored.
bro, is to make people think. That's it.
Nah, you're
I
doing more
trust
than
a thinking person. I can trust a thinking person to make the right decision. The problem is that people are not thinking.
you're doing more than just making people think because after thinking you gotta apply it with an action. If you don't apply it with an action, that thought is nothing,
Guess
bro.
what, bro? You should trust people. Anyone that can think can apply the action of what they think. Because if they think about it, they will figure it out. And you wouldn't. It's like when you're hungry, you don't need anyone to tell you you're hungry.
But that's your instincts though. That's your instincts.
Exactly. Exactly. It becomes instinctive. Anybody that thinks will always come down to their instinct. They will find the intelligence of instinct.
One programming themselves to be instinctive, bro, is a very hard trait to acquire, bro. But like you said,
I'm
it
gonna be
all
teaching. I'm gonna be teaching ways. I call it the mechanics of discipline. One
wait,
of
do you teach too?
not yet,
Okay.
but
Def- Bro, definitely
there's something
shout
I'm working on right now. It's called the mechanics of discipline, and it's something
bro,
I've been working on even way before I was in TikTok.
I don't
Someone that knew
mind.
me very much told me that
Yeah.
they truly think that if I expounded on that and put it in documentation, it will help people think because discipline is all about thinking.
Yeah.
It's how you think that will make you do what you say you can do
But Kanga,
when you say you can do it.
if you plan on doing that, bro, I definitely want to collab with you, bro. I would definitely want to be part of that work. So just shout me in anything to do with that discipline of teaching one to break through obstacles and to obtain the knowledge, as you said, of like becoming instinctive and using your instincts and turning it into an everyday nature, bro. I'm all about that, bro.
It's amazing, right? How today's men have lost their instinct.
Oh yeah, dogs have more instinct than humans, which is like it's crazy because the human tries to teach the dog, but yet the dog is completely more smarter, even though the human's meant to be more smarter.
The intelligence of instinct. Maybe I should make a show about that. The intelligence of instinct.
You definitely should,
Why
bro.
you should.
You
But
definitely
most people
should.
don't understand what instinct is. But instinct is like coding, right? So if you have think about playing a video game and you have a cheat code. Our instincts are like a cheat code to reality.
Mm.
Because our instincts will never lie. Our instinct measure, quantify everything and gives it to us all at once.
Right.
When someone rubs you off the wrong way and you see it and you really see it, and maybe for like 0.5 of a second, you know beyond shadow of doubt that person is lying to you. But then you think about it and then you let your emotions get involved and all of a sudden you're like, nah, not this guy. Not this person. You're like, this is my brother. No, this is my dad. Then before you know, he's banging your wife.
Deceived. That's what you get. But bro, you're so right on that. Let me just touch on that real quick. So you basically said, as you were saying, I was just kind of like having this kind of like moment of a thought came to my mind. So basically, I believe you become instinctive when you truly, truly want something really, really bad. So put it this way, right? You know how, for example, I'm gonna use something that's a negative society right now. How one becomes like somebody that doesn't do good to others, like, you know what I mean? Like they take lives, right? They
Right.
do that. They do that for such a long, long period of time to a point where they've programmed in their brain to make it second nature, right? That right there is becoming right there and there. Do you agree?
Bro, why do you think that men used to go to war? I know that I was saying this the other day, but men are really the way we are because of our instincts, right? So if you keep a man for a woman from a woman for a long time, he becomes instinctive. Like he becomes jitterish. And if the man cannot ejaculate, it increases his energy and his focus, which is everything that comes to instinct. Instinct requires focus, calmness, calculativeness, all your positive quality. Your instincts is what makes you a top athlete. A person like LeBron James is good at basketball because he's got instincts. Like when he looks at the basketball court, he sees everybody, and just by looking at the way they stand, he already knows exactly how to react, just like water. So water is always looking for the path of least resistance. Think about like water. You pour a bucket of water downhill, and then you just follow the way the water is moving. It doesn't move in a straight line, but it somehow it just finds the easiest way without even being told. You know, water when water is going downhill, it just finds the easiest way without being told. If it's got to go through that little tiny hole, it just begins to go just slowly, but before you know, it's flooding already. You know, and then as it's going through that tiny hole, it's washing away the hole and expanding it. That's how your instincts flow. Your instinct is like water flowing downhill. You just know what you got to do because it's instinctive. That means that, okay, now how do I put it? And I don't really want to go into the intelligence of instincts, but I'm still going to mention this. So we have the ability to gain the experiences of our ancestries. Every species does through genetics. So just like if your dad, let's say if your dad had a certain behavior that became part of him and it became coded into his genes, by giving birth to you, that's an extension. So that sperm that's leaving your dad leaves your dad with everything that your dad is. With data of everything that your dad is. If your dad is a drunk, that sperm got the genes for drunkenness. It got the genes for everything, and it got the genes for everyone that was in your dad's bloodline and before.
Right.
Listen, that is what makes us amazing as human beings. Let me tell you this, y'all. Every time you see a human being, try to measure their bloodline. Try to imagine every male, every father that came in their bloodline. Every time you see a human being. Now think how far back it goes. And think that this human being you're looking at has the combined experiences of all those people together.
I feel you.
When a person becomes in touch with that information, that's what is known as instincts. Like the animals in the jungle. The animals in the jungle knows when the rain is coming.
They do.
Because it's in their genes.
Right.
You know when the predator is coming. You know what to do when the predator comes at you. It's instinctive, right? When a lion is hungry, the lion is not judging his food based on the size of its food. It's judging its food based on its capability to hunt.
Right.
And the lion
Right.
is not going to know that he can't hunt the elephant until he tries and fails.
There you go.
It's his instincts. It's his instincts. He doesn't sit down and think about it and be like, oh man, I don't feel like hunting today. Nah, he's gonna go hunt because he's hungry.
And another
so you're gonna go. You're gonna go to work.
Mm-hmm.
You're not tired enough to even think about not going to work. You just go. Like being tired is not. You don't even consider the fact that you're tired. Bro, you just know that, man. If I don't do this, my kids ain't gonna have food to eat. Just do it.
People are just too lazy.
Man, if we don't do this, black people won't make it here. We need a universal instinct within the black community. A universal instinct. Oh man, I'm already pointing out all my germs all at once. No, let's not talk about instincts.
No, but I believe the reason why like people are not learning these things, obviously, I believe laziness is a big part. People are being programmed to just be too lazy, bro. And you can blame it on the system or whatever, but people are the cause of their own fall. Like I believe man is the cause of their own fall. I think I was watching one of your videos, and I don't know if this is yours, but correct me. There was this one video that you made something to do with the Garden of Eden. You questioned and said, right, if Satan deceived Adam and Eve, where was the security in the whole thing? Like, where?
Yeah, who was in charge? Who was in charge of security?
Right,
in the Garden of Eden.
Right. Like if God knew that all this would happen and this and that, who was in charge of security?
Do you know the main reason why I asked that question is because after God kicks them out, he puts 2 angels to block the way back to the garden. I'm like, hold up. Why are you trying to block human beings from coming into the garden when you didn't want to block the serpent from coming into the garden? Right. Something is not right.
Right.
How? Why is he trying to block us? Why don't we have free access to the garden as sinners the same way that the serpent, the snake, who was already a sinner, the devil, had access to the garden? Like, something is not right here. It seems like God must have sent that serpent there on purpose. Or the serpent himself is God, and God is just a shapeshifter, playing all the roles, which is really what I'm telling you that he is, because guess what? God is both the same person that is Adam, is also the same person that is Eve, it's also the same person that is the devil, it's also the same person that's God. And that person is what you know as you. Because the story is happening in your imagination. Come on, y'all.
Right. So what I want to take out from what you said, so I kind of wanted to give an analogy to it to just add a step to it. So basically, in that situation, I believe we can be responsible for our own lives. It's just like as a parent in your household, you are in charge of your kids' behavior and stuff like that to parent them right there. If you don't parent your children the correct way, your children go slip out your hands and they're going to do something foolish. And if you don't take care of that, they're going to now become the man and the woman of the house because you don't have the authority. So it's like the people on earth, we have authority, but we've chosen to give away that authority to people who were not supposed to be in charge of us. Now we've given away the key, and now we suddenly open the door and realize our houses is no longer how we left it, and now we're wondering how did it get here? And we found out the people that are in charge that made it how it is, but it's too late to do anything about it because they already got the keys and they're already gone away. And now they've made a new law. And now we have to abide in that law, because if we don't abide in that law, guess what? You're gonna be in jail. If you don't abide in that law, guess what? You're gonna be put to sleep. So I just feel like, yeah, people say, oh, the devil's in charge, or the devil's the one that's deceiving the world, destroying the world. But I believe man is full on responsible for the actions and the situation which the world is in a chaotic way today.
Bro, of course man is responsible, even if it's the devil, because the devil is not responsible without man. Like I said, there's no God without man. There is no devils without man. When you read the Bible and when you read where it says God, that's not God. That's you. That's what you think God is, right? So it's all happening in your brain. You are every character in the movie. You're like Eddie Murphy in Coming to America. You're playing every role. You're the barber, and you're the one the barber is cutting the hair off too. you know, bro. That's that. Our minds work that way. Our imagination gives us the ability to create alternate realities. But you have to always come back to the prime reality. Prime reality is the realm of the 5 senses. where we interact with each other. But we can
Right.
all always go back to our prime reality to go and chill and enjoy our fantasies. Everyone has a fantasy, and there's nothing wrong with having fantasies. Just don't
Right.
confuse fantasy for reality.
Right.
But thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate
it.
you, man.
I'm gonna
I followed you on this one. Follow me on my main channel if you
Alright,
want to
bro.
stay up to date.
Love, bro.
This one is just my backup channel. I go live on it sometimes.
All right, love, bro.
For sure, bro. Stay strong. Much love and peace. All right, let me see who's in line. If not, all right, let me talk to this guy. Welcome to the Tezok Show, ladies and gentlemen, the most controversial show on TikTok. Share this with somebody, and coming soon, I will be uploading all these lives back on YouTube. So you can go back and rewatch them and maybe think about some of the things. You know what? If you want to catch me in a contradiction, if you want to catch me contradicting myself, just go and rewatch these videos when I post them on YouTube, right? And then you can come tell me how much of a contradiction I am. You can tell me how horrible of an argumentative I am. Oh, the brother didn't come on? Anyways, look, y'all, I have to go. My time has expired. That dude was waiting for a long time. Ethiopia, I'll talk to you next time again, brother. Please. My time has expired today. Thank you, everyone, for pulling up. My main channel is down for a few days. So I'll be live on this one. Unless I get blocked, then I'll go to my other backup. And then if I get blocked there, I go to my other backup. And then if I get blocked there, I go to my other backup. But by that time, my main channel will be back up. So religious people are sensitive. They like to report when they don't agree with you. But just so you know, never worship a God created by another man's imagination. Never worship a God created by another man's imagination. Never worship a God created by another man's imagination. You should never, ever, never, never. Until next time, dear friends, thank you so much for pulling up on the Tezok Show. Tezok is out. Woo, money bag. Trick or treat, huh? Thank you so much for that.